You know that feeling when a game absolutely wrecks you, but somehow you can't stop playing it? Yeah, that's the beauty of turn-based JRPGs. These games test your patience, destroy your sanity, and yet, deep down, we adore every painful second of it. From brutal bosses that laugh at your strategies to long, grinding sessions that feel like torture, these 25 turn-based JRPGs are the kind of suffering we just can't get enough of. And honestly, that's what makes them legendary. Parasite Eve. Man, listen up. I'm not kidding when I say Parasite Eve is like getting sucker punched in the feels by a PS1 JRPG that's also a horror flick. You're chilling at an opera on Christmas Eve, and boom, everyone around you spontaneously combusts, except for Aya Brea, your rookie cop protagonist, and this eerily mesmerizing singer called Eve. From there, Aya's jerked into this twisted, mito-mad science mess across 6 harrowing days in icy, deserted NYC, including Central Park and chiller spots like the Natural History Museum. It's like Final Fantasy and Resident Evil got mashed together, and Squaresoft was all, why not make a cinematic RPG horror hybrid? What sets it apart is the combat system. None of that stuck-in-place, turn-based nonsense. You move Aya around while watching your action bar fill up, dodging mutations and picking your moment to unleash shots or parasite powers. It's tactical and tense without feeling clunky. And gear jockeys, you'll dig it. You can pimp your weapons and armor by mixing parts and perks, like swapping in an acid stat or speed boost to make your favorite gun shine. Yeah, the story's gritty, short, and kinda linear, but that's part of the charm. In under 15 hours, you get an unforgettable cinematic horror meets RPG thrill ride that still gives me chills, even now. Parasite Eve. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. Alright, buckle in. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne is absolute madness in a crystal clear remastered package, and it's finally playable on modern platforms. The OG PS2 version dropped way back in 2003 in Japan and 2004 abroad, spinning this wild post-apocalyptic yarn where a Tokyo high schooler fuses with a demon and becomes the demi-fiend. Pretty rad origin story, right? Fast forward to that savage HD remaster. This beast hit Switch and PS4 in Japan in October 2020. Then the rest of the world got it on May the 25th, 2021. Yep, including PC via Steam for the first time ever. And Atlus didn't just slap on some prettier graphics. They threw in remastered 3D models and backgrounds, optional voiced dialogue in English and Japanese, a handy suspend save feature, extra difficulty options, and even a whole alternate branch featuring Raidu from Devil Summoner. What's cooler? The Steam community's loving it. Reviews are overwhelmingly positive, praising the challenging, dark vibes while enjoying the fidelity bump. So yeah, whether you're playing on PS4, Anywhere Switch, or PC, it's the same demon-packed horror fantasy genius, just way shinier, more user-friendly, and totally hype for both longtime fans and newcomers alike. Final Fantasy VII. Okay, real talk. Final Fantasy VII is the kind of game that made JRPGs a thing for everyone way back in the day, and it's done so many digital hops since its original 1997 PlayStation debut that it's basically part-time nomad. First you had the OG disc release on PlayStation. Then came the PlayStation Network Classic version, in 2009, playable on PS3, PSP, plus later PS Vita and TV support. Retro vibes for the win. Not into Sony? No stress. Dotemu revamped that bad boy for PC in 2012 with HD graphics, cloud saves, achievements, and even a PC booster that cranked up speed, stats, and nuked random encounters. The PC port hit Steam in 2013, and Japan got a special edition in May of that year with perks like high-speed mode and no randoms, fan service maxed out. Fast forward to 2015, and Square Enix brought it to iOS with Auto Save Love, followed by Android in 2016. Mobile nostalgia unlocked. And don't forget the modern consoles. A .mu-powered PS4 port landed in December 2015, and the game later appeared on Nintendo Switch and Xbox One in March 2019 worldwide. Midgar on all your devices, basically. So yeah, this classic keeps living its best life across Play Anywhere platforms, and honestly, it's never felt more timeless or accessible.
Dad.
Yakuza, like a dragon. You know when a game decides to flip the script so hard, you're left both shook and grinning like an idiot. That's Yakuza, like a dragon for you. Instead of swinging fists in real time like the older entries, this one turns into a full-on, turn-based JRPG, complete with menu commands, MP bars, and Ichiban Kasuga living out his Dragon Quest fantasies in the streets of Yokohama. Fighting now means carefully choosing your attacks, guarding just in time, or going full-on ashtray crush thanks to the hostess job. Jobs include bodyguards, chefs, and even idols who heal your party with performances. The world is still pure Yakuza chaos. Explore Isazaki Ijincho. Uncover the map as you walk, stumble into wild sub-stories, or accidentally get run over by a car. Legit happened to me in a preview build. And those side missions? Absolute gold. Gameplay-wise, it's clever. Attacking a downed foe can trigger extra hits from teammates, and perfectly timed guards slash damage hard. Combat never feels stale. Critics and fans were mostly buzzing. Metacritic rated it generally favorable, and outlets praised the story, characters, and job system, though some pointed out the turn-based battles could drag late game. One review even called it a renovation of remarkable height, applauding its open world, social commentary, and wild minigames like karaoke, kart races, and business management. So yeah, Yakuza. Like a Dragon didn't just jump genres, it landed on its feet and made turn-based combat feel exactly like Yakuza. Absurd, strategic, and oddly heartfelt. Fantasian, Neo Dimension. Alright, Fantasian Neo Dimension is basically the glow-up of that artsy JRPG from Apple Arcade, but it's now flexing across consoles and PC, and it hits so much harder. From the wizardry of Hironobu Sakaguchi and Nobuo Uematsu, this revamped beauty lands December the 5th, 2024 on PS5, PS4, Switch, Xbox Series XS, and PC via Steam, and even gets Steam Deck verified, FYI. You play as Leo, the amnesiac hero waking up in this mechanized mess where emotional zapping mecteria is eating the world, and now he's dimension hopping to piece together his past across over 150 handcrafted diorama landscapes. Battles are old school JRPG style, but with a twist. You'll manipulate skilled trajectories to strike enemies in straight or curved lines. Smart, right? And can stash fights in the Dimension system to tackle in a mega battle later. Plus, They added English and Japanese voiceovers, a friendlier, normal difficulty, finally, 4K support, and even a collaboration BGM option so you can jam to Final Fantasy tracks while fighting. But yeah, it's not perfect. Some reviewers flagged wonky camera moves and janky controls, as well as rough pacing in the back half of the story. Still, it's pretty adored. Critics praised its visuals, strategic combat, and nostalgic charm. Bonus little nugget: there's a hidden super hard difficulty you can unlock by opening the menu 5 times at the title screen, like for real masochists only. Chrono Trigger. Let's be real. Chrono Trigger is basically the JRPG that defined how epic these games could be, and it's so timeless that even in 2025 people still go nuts for it. This sucker first dropped on the Super Nintendo, aka Super Famicom in Japan, on March 11th, 1995 in Japan, before hitting North America in August of the same year. And yes, this game is old enough to have its own big birthday party, turning 30 this March, and fans are still hyped. But Chrono Trigger didn't stay trapped in the 90s. It's hopped around platforms like it's got a serious case of digital wanderlust. We got a PlayStation port in 1999, Japan, and 2001 in North America as part of the Final Fantasy Chronicles collection. Later on, the DS version came out in 2008/2009, with cool quality-of-life upgrades and extra dungeons, even multiplayer. Then came Virtual Console love via Wii, mobile ports on iOS and Android. And finally, in 2018, a remastered Steam version with bonus dungeons, autosave, remastered soundtrack, and graphical polish under the supervision of Yasunori Mitsuda himself. So yeah, from SNES to smartphones to Steam, Chrono Trigger has basically been everywhere.
People you remember are with you forever.
Lost Odyssey. Man, Lost Odyssey is that rare kind of JRPG that quietly steals your heart with emotional depth while still giving you turn-based nostalgia in spades. You dive into the story as Kaim Argonar, this almost immortal mercenary who survived 1,000 years, only he can't remember any of it. The game hits you with these 1,000 years of dreams segments, little short stories unlocked in-game that are honestly tear-jerkers, beautifully written and reminding you how precious time can be. The world, totally post-magic industrial revolution fantasy, dripping with cinematic vibes thanks to Unreal Engine 3. Sure, on original Xbox 360 it meant load times and occasional lag, but the environments and lighting still pop decades later. Combat's solidly classic, turn-based with a twist. There's the aim ring system. Hit the timing right for damage buffs, crits or elements, and a guard condition front-back row setup that adds some tactical spice. Your party's immortal members don't learn by leveling up. Instead, they link skills from mortal allies, which feels super clever and thematic. RPG Fans Review totally nailed it. Story, art direction, music, combat, they praised it all, calling it a masterstroke you absolutely need to play if you're craving old-school JRPG vibes. So yeah, Lost Odyssey isn't just another JRPG. It's emotional storytelling wrapped in classic gameplay that sticks with you long after the credits roll.
The Titans were locked in a timeless battle.
Xenoblade Chronicles. Imagine this. You're standing on the back of a giant living world, watching blades of grass sway as the clouds roll by. Then, bam! It turns into the most epic JRPG landscape you've ever laid eyes on. That's Xenoblade Chronicles, Definitive Edition in a nutshell. This 2020 Switch remaster took the already legendary Wii original, 2009, and polished it up so clean it's like it was born for modern consoles. Better lighting, sharper textures, revamped menus, and a slicker HUD that actually helps you find your quests instead of wandering aimlessly. Plus, it adds a brand new epilogue side story called Future Connected, letting you revisit the world with Melia and Shulk for an extra emotional send-off. Combat. It's still that satisfying real-time, not really RPG feel. You control Shulk, popping off arts on cooldowns, stacking tactical chains, triggering cool combinations, all while knowing your inputs actually matter. Reviewers were raving. Metro called it a 9 out of 10 and one of the best JRPG experiences you can still get on current formats. VGC literally said it's polished to perfection, praising exploration, depth, and jaw-dropping soundtrack upgrades from JRPG legends like Mitsuda and Shimomura. Fans chimed in too. One said, "It's one of my favorite RPGs of all time. The music is phenomenal." And on Switch, it's the definitive way to experience the game. Sure, some quirks linger, awkward dialogue, faint texture, pop-ins in handheld mode, but with the massive world, emotional weight, and sleek quality of life boosts, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition feels like a love letter to both longtime fans and newcomers alike.
Hey, up there! He's here, moving immediately.
Persona 5 Royal. Okay, Persona 5 Royal isn't just your typical upgrade, it's the original game turned up to 11, with enough new content and polish to justify grabbing that Phantom Thieves hoodie again. Originally launched March 31st, 2020 for PS4, and later on PS5, Switch, Xbox and PC in 2022, Royal doesn't just add a few cool extras, it tacks on an entire new school semester, fresh plots, and even lets you sneak into places using a sweet grappling hook mechanic. But the real magic is in the details. You get brand new confidants in Kasumi Yoshizawa, gymnast extraordinaire, and therapist Takuto Maruki, extended bonding scenes with Akechi, and extra dungeon action with a cheeky character named Jose roaming around mementos. Quality of life upgrades are everywhere. From show-stopping showtime, dual character attacks, and smoother calendar planning, to a chill thieves' den where you can display trophies, listen to music, and literally swing darts with your crew. Reviewers pretty much lost their minds. Metacritic labels this universal acclaim, even tipping higher than the original, and critics loved how it took an already stellar game and made it insanely better. Fans agree, praising everything from style to soundtrack to that perfectly timed baton pass. Bottom line, Persona 5 Royal is more than just a deluxe edition. It's the full Phantom Thieves experience, glossier, deeper, and ready to steal your heart all over again.
It's you. It's up to you now.
Octopath Traveler 2. You ever stumble into a world that's part steampunk fairy tale and part pixel-perfect dream? That's Octopath Traveler 2 for you, dropping on February 24th, 2023 across Switch, PS4, PS5 and PC via Steam, before finally hitting Xbox One and Series XS in June 2024. It throws you into Celestia, a sprawling land where steamships drift through skies, towns morph with day and night, and every corner begs to be explored by one of 8 wild, new adventurers. Combat still hits that addictive break and boost groove, but things get spicy with the fresh latent power system. Charge it up mid-battle and unleash an all-out cinematic move, so your strategy game goes from smart to show-off real quick. And yes, the classic path actions are back, but now they flex depending on day or night, like dueling NPCs or recruiting them when the stars are out. Critics were largely hyped. The game holds an 85 Metascore, generally favourable, while Steam users show it love with 94 to 95% very positive / overwhelmingly positive reviews. But it's not flawless. Some players pointed out that while the visuals and music slap, a few character stories feel weaker, and the random encounters and pacing occasionally drag. Bonus! Since June 2024, both games, Octopath and this sequel, dropped onto Xbox Game Pass, so if you've been sleeping, now's your chance to jump in without laying down extra cash.
Your kingdom will perish alongside
Metaphor ReFantazio. Oh man, get this. Metaphor ReFantazio is basically Atlus's big JRPG comeback, and it does not hold back. Dropped on October 11th, 2024, this epic RPG puts you in the shoes of Will, an elder orphan and childhood friend of a cursed prince, who enters a royal tournament to literally win the throne and wake the prince, set in the kingdom of Uchronia, a fantasy world packed with political intrigue, dark magic, and social turmoil. Combat is a slick blend of turn-based strategy and real-time action, powered by the addictive archetype system. Basically, your characters channel legendary hero powers, and you can switch them mid-game to suit your next battle plan. The world is huge, gorgeous, and dripping with lore. Ride gauntlet runners across landscapes, dive into dungeons with time limits, and deepen bonds with allies by night. Critics and players are absolutely losing it. Metaphor scored a lofty 94 on Metacritic, with minimal complaints about technical hiccups, and even sold over 1 million copies on day one. Reviewers called it a stunning return to form for Atlus, blending Persona-style depth with dark fantasy brilliance. Bottom line, Metaphor ReFantazio isn't just another JRPG. It's that awe-inspiring, thought-provoking fantasy epic that steals your soul and refuses to give it back. Ready for the next game? Just say the word. Mother 3. Okay, brace yourself. For all the Earthbound fans out there, Mother 3 is that legendary sequel that never officially landed in the West, yet still managed to carve its way into pop JRPG folklore. The game finally launched in Japan back in April 2006 after a tortuously long development roller coaster, and fans were begging for an English release. When Nintendo said, nah, the Earthbound fanbase went full DIY mode. In November 2006, they kicked off a hardcore fan translation project led by Clyde Tomato Mandolin, and spent thousands of hours hacking the game, building custom tools, and translating a staggering 1,000 pages of dialogue, then dropped the first patch in October 2008. Amazingly, it was downloaded over 100,000 times in just its first week. This patch is no joke. It's so polished and faithful that most fans treat it like the de facto official version. A ton of love and detail went into encoding everything from fonts to quirky puns, facade, anyone, and even custom intro screens that nod to previous localizations of the series. So yeah, Mother 3 might not be official in English, but the fan-made patch turned it into a heartbreakingly beautiful, unforgettable JRPG. One we wouldn't still be talking about if fans hadn't made it happen themselves. Earthbound. Alright, get this. Earthbound throws you into a suburban American dream that totally flips RPG expectations. Instead of knights and dragons, you're roaming around with baseball bats, yo-yos, and psychic powers, battling oddballs like cultists and walking piles of puke. It landed in North America on June 5th, 1995, after debuting in Japan in '94 as Mother 2, and only sold around 140,000 copies in the US, with total global sales hitting roughly 658,000. Nintendo even dropped $2 million on this wild, "this game stinks" scratch and sniff ad campaign. Yup, that didn't vibe well with everyone. But here's the twist. Earthbound's awkward marketing backfired into legend. It tanked hard. Graphics were simplistic compared to flashy contemporaries, and the price was steep thanks to the bundled strategy guide. But over time, it became a cult classic. Its heartfelt humor, surreal world, and everyday setting turned it into a timeless gem. Gameplay? Forget random battles. Enemies walk around in plain sight like those screenshots show. Approach them from behind, and you might win instantly. No fight needed. Even HP rolls down slowly when you get hit, giving you that sweet last-second chance to heal. Fans still gush about it. One Redditor called it a breath of fresh air from all the medieval RPGs, and said the modern setting is easily their favorite part.
Hostility,
I challenge you to a duel.
betrayal,
If you mean to proceed with this folly, then you will do so over my dead body.
or heartbreak.
Triangle strategy. You ever dive into an HD 2D game that drops you straight into icy politics while still looking like a pixel wonderland? That's Triangle Strategy, a tactical RPG from the folks behind Octopath Traveler and Bravely Default, which hit the Switch in March 2022 and then PC via Steam in October the same year. You play as Serenoa Wolffoot, the noble heir of House Glenbrook, caught between three warring kingdoms, Glenbrook, Hysanti and Esfrost, each with its own thing. Salt, iron, forests, classic fantasy stuff with a political twist. The real flex? Scales of conviction. Major decisions are put to a vote among your squad, and your conviction, whether you lean utility, morality or liberty, shapes how the story branches and who stays in your party. You can even persuade allies based on how much conviction you've earned. Combat, meanwhile, is deep and strategic. Mountain heights, water shocks, chaining follow-up attacks, terrain matters big time. Critics mostly dug it. Strong reviews for narrative, combat, art direction and soundtrack, though some felt there was a lot of dialogue and cutscenes slowing things down. Sales-wise, it's no sleeper. Over 1 million copies sold by 2022. And as of August 2025, it's now playable on PS5 and Xbox Series X/S and Xbox/PC via Play Anywhere, with 4K and smoother performance, and it's even on discount for a limited time. Xenogears. So, Xenogears is that one PlayStation 1 JRPG wildcard that dared to blend mech anime, meaty psychological themes, and biblical symbolism into one unforgettable package. It launched in Japan on February 11th, 1998, and hit North American shelves by October of the same year, becoming the very first entry in what would become the legendary Xeno series. You play as Fei Fong Wong, waking up with amnesia and suddenly piloting giant robots called Gears, sliding into a world steeped in Jungian psychology, Freudian thought, and a plot about overthrowing the god machine Solaris. It was actually pitched as early versions of Final Fantasy VII or a Chrono Trigger sequel before morphing into this audacious sci-fi epic. The gameplay toggles between combo-driven hand-to-hand battles where you string death blow sequences, and mech combat where fuel, not experience, dictates your strategy. Those gears, stunningly detailed for the era, and the anime cutscenes, cinematic as hell. Critics and fans still worship it. It's got an 84 Metacritic score, sold over 1.19 million copies worldwide, and keeps popping up in greatest of all time polls, 16th in Famitsu Reader's 2006 list, top 40 in IGN's Reader Choices. Sure, the second disc shifts into exposition mode, with text-heavy sequences used to wrap up the sprawling narrative thanks to time constraints, but even that messiness feels part of its charm. Dragon Quest V: Hand of the Heavenly Bride. You start the game as a wide-eyed kid traipsing around the world with your adventurer dad, and before you know it, you're grown up, married, and steering dragons. Dragon Quest V literally has you live a life, not just play one. Originally released in Japan for the Super Famicom in September 1992, the game hit the West much later with the Nintendo DS remake in early 2009, finally giving the world a chance to meet its heartfelt story. What really sets DQV apart is its generational epic structure. 3 distinct life stages of the hero, including childhood, slavery, and fatherhood, with time skips that hit surprisingly emotional notes. You even get to choose your wife, 3 unique candidates, each with different twisty personalities, start a family, and raise your own kids as party members. On top of that, it introduced the monster recruitment mechanic, making it the granddaddy of monster taming games and arguably inspiring Pokémon years before it existed. Visually, the DS remake brings the world alive with vibrant sprites over gorgeous 3D backdrops, and the soundtrack is pure, nostalgic JRPG bliss, courtesy of Koichi Sugiyama. Reviewers and fans adore it. Its Metascore sits at a solid 84, and critics praise the remade version as an emotional, deep, yet classic JRPG. So yeah, Dragon Quest V isn't just another JRPG. It's a life lived in pixels, an emotional saga built on family, monster kids, and timeless storytelling. Phantasy Star 4: The End of the Millennium. After 3 wild journeys across the HeartGold star system, Phantasy Star 4 swoops in as the emotional, pixel-powered mic drop that fans didn't see coming. It first launched in Japan in December 1993, finally hitting North America in early 1995, and Europe by the end of that year, closing out the original RPG saga before online multiplayer changed the game forever. You start on a battered planet Motavia, a desert wasteland, 1,000 years post-Great Collapse, where you meet Chaz Ashley, a rookie hunter who ends up venturing across ruined planets and cosmic mysteries to uncover the roots of a new evil known as Dark Force. And yay, there's a deeper, darker mastermind behind it all. Gameplay is old school, but polished. Top-down exploration, slick turn-based battles with combo attacks, macros, and synergy moves, plus manga-style panels during key cutscenes that never feel out of place. Add to that a vibrant, unique art style dubbed crunchy, and an incredible soundtrack that still hits decades later. Portability is strong too. It's surfaced in everything from Sega Saturn collections to Genesis Mini, Sega Ages compilations, Virtual Console, and even on PC via Steam, with the later versions smoothing out quirks like the infamous Level 99 glitch. Sure, some players on Reddit love the cutscenes, but admit the reused dungeons and sprite limitations can wear you down late game. Still, Phantasy Star 4 sums up a heartfelt sci-fi epic with memorable characters, tight gameplay loops, and legacy-level JRPG charm.
There was a time when the 7 heroes embodied that moniker. They rose to action whenever fiends would set upon us.
Romancing Saga 2: Revenge of the Seven. Romancing Saga 2: Revenge of the Seven is pretty much the dream remake for fans of wild, multi-gen JRPG. This full 3D reimagining of the 1993 classic drops on October 24, 2024 for Switch, PS4, PS5 and Steam just one day later on PC. It keeps the experimental soul of the original while giving it a modern sheen. You're playing as the Emperor of Avalon, defending your throne against the legend-bent 7 heroes who've come back seeking vengeance. Gameplay is crazy deep. You manage your empire through generations, passing down skills and powers via legacy magic, and explore a non-linear storyline where every choice feels weighty. This remake throws in a bunch of new stuff too. Japanese and English voiceovers, rearranged bangers from Kenji Ito, plus fresh tunes, an updated timeline battle system, optional difficulty settings, and serious QL upgrades that balance modern comfort with the ability to keep it old school. Critics generally dig it. OpenCritic scores it around 81 out of 83. Steam reviews are overwhelmingly positive, and reviewers hype up its massive story, expedient modern makeover, and unique legacy mechanics. Some fans love how approachable it is, calling it the ideal entry point into the Wild Saga series. Minor caveats. Some players noticed long load times, occasional stutters on switch, and a story structure that can feel a bit disconnected mid-game. Legend of Legaia. Imagine waking up in a world where the land is dying from a mysterious mist, and your only hope is a beat-em-up style RPG with a combo system that feels like a Street Fighter baby met Pokemon. That's Legend of Legaia for you. Released in Japan in October 1998 and in North America in March 1999 on PlayStation, this one's a hidden gem from developer Procyon and publisher Sony. Totally wild, totally unique. You play as Vaughn, joined by Noah and Gala, traveling the world to restore Genesis trees, fight mist-corrupted creatures, and literally punch mist in the face with your tactical arts system. A fighting game-inspired mechanic where combos use directional inputs, high, low, left, right. Nail some of them, and you pull off arts like somersault. Link moves, chain them, and manage your AP wisely. You're not just tapping attack anymore. Critics gave it props too. GameSpot praised its ambitious and engaging engine, and the Pixel Empire gave it a solid 9 out of 10 for its rich environments, unique combat, and killer soundtrack. Fans are mixed on pacing though. Some love the depth, others say battles drag later on, or encounter rates are rough, especially in certain Western versions. Still, it's that kind of game you remember for its creativity, even if the combat patience test is real. Bottom line? Legend of Legaia may have flown under the radar, but with its deep, combo-loaded battles, haunting, misty world, and heart, it's absolutely worth revisiting. Shadow Heart's Covenant. Let's be real. Shadow Heart's Covenant is that rare JRPG sequel that levels up in just about every way, hitting harder, weirder, and smarter than the first go. Released in Japan in February 2004, and hitting North America by September and Europe in 2005, this one dropped us into a world where World War I collides with demon curses and arcane cults. And yes, it's all as wild as it sounds. You still get the Judgment Ring combat system, but this time they supercharged it. More ring types, customizable accuracy zones, combo chains, and even shop discounts if you stop with style. It's smart, twitchy, and actually rewards mastery. The story? Yuri's back, cursed, and being hunted by a secret society. He's joined by a bold German lieutenant, Karin, a vampire wrestler, a wolf buddy, Rasputin, Anastasia, all straight out of a fever dream that blends history with Lovecraftian horror. Critics and fans practically worshipped this one. It scored an 85 Metacritic, GameSpot gave it an 8.6, and reviewers praised its humor, unique tone, and genre-bending style. RPGFan broke it down as a refined combat experience wrapped in pulpy, alternate history awesomeness. Plus, in the RPG community, it keeps surfacing in underrated RPG masterpiece lists.
Give me your other hand!
Let me go! We'll both fall at this rate!
I'm not losing you ever! Now hurry and give me your hand!
Bravely Default. Bravely Default is basically what happens when classic Final Fantasy vibes go on a soul-refreshing vacation and come back reinvented for the 3DS. Originally rolled out in Japan in 2012 as Bravely Default Flying Fairy, it eventually made its international debut in 2014 under the simplified name Bravely Default, with added storyline content from For the Sequel. The heart of this JRPG is its signature Brave and Default system. Here's the genius twist. You can choose to brave and unleash up to 4 actions in one turn, risking a downtime if you go too deep. Or you can default, defend, and stack up BP for a future burst. Strategic risk versus reward at its best. Add a robust job system where you mix, match, and level up to 24 classes using main and sub-jobs, and you've got gameplay that's deceptively deep and terribly addictive. Meanwhile, exploring the world of Luxemdark is a visual treat. Watercolor-style backgrounds so gorgeous they feel like living paintings, paired with a memorable score from Revo that will linger in your headboard long after you stop playing. Critics praised its nostalgia meets innovation formula. Wired even called it like Final Fantasy at its best, shining a light on how it revived classic RPG feelings while introducing smart, modern layers. Bravely Default isn't just a JRPG. It's a lovingly crafted homage to the golden era of RPGs, with enough fresh mechanics to keep both veterans and newcomers hooked.
HeartGold and SoulSilver.
Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver. Listen up. HeartGold and SoulSilver aren't just remakes. They're like a love letter wrapped in nostalgia with a Pokeball seal. Released in Japan on September 12, 2009, and hitting the West in March 2010, these DS titles took the beloved Johto plus Kanto adventure and gave it a full-gen makeover with modern polish. From the jump, the classics get a glow-up. 3D-style maps, revamped Gen 1 and 2 sprites, updated music, and touchscreen menus that feel slick without losing that retro charm. Remember that adorable moment when your favorite Pokemon could follow you around outside its ball? They leveled up that feature so any Pokemon can tag along. Cute overload. They didn't just stop there. Want to train your Pokemon while walking IRL? That's the Pokewalker for you. It's like a mini Tamagotchi meets pedometer. With mini games and item rewards, you can transfer back to your game. Plus, you can hit both Johto and Kanto, and even revisit them for extra challenges and post-game grind. Critics loved the upgrade, with an 87 Metacritic score and glowing praise for balancing nostalgia with smart improvements. And those sales? Insane. Over 12.7 million copies sold worldwide by 2017. So yeah, after trekking through all these JRPG worlds that throw curveballs, sinuous strategy, and those oh-so-sweet brutal boss battles at us, what's the takeaway? We don't just survive, we thrive in the suffering. There's something deeply satisfying about that moment. Your HP dips under 10% and you still turn the tables, like conquering a mountain, only it's made of spreadsheets and attack-up buffs. Fans keep craving that brain-twisting combat, because when a game challenges you, it rewards your skills and scars you with stories you'll never forget. That's the beauty of turn-based JRPGs. Controlled chaos, strategic depth, emotional payoff, pure suffering, yes, but the kind we gladly RSVP heck yes to every time.